A social enterprise is a type of business that can be a little bit difficult to understand, and the main thing is you want to think about from the beginning is it is not a charity. A charity is sort of, maybe government owned or just set up to do good, like the Red Cross or the Salvation Army. A social enterprise is actually a business. So we've got it over here as a type of business in the private sector all the way over here. And what it does is it tries to improve human well-being or the environment rather than maximize profit. So we're going to use an example of Street Cafe. So you can see a cafe here. It's still trying to make a profit, but those profits go back to the community rather than the individual shareholders. And the goal is to use the profits to help solve a social or environmental problem. So let's take a cup of coffee. A social enterprise is trying to sell it for $4. It's still trying to make it for less than that, because if it only costs $2.50, and we sell it for $4, we are making a profit of $1.50. That's what we're about. A charity is not designed to make a profit. So this is different. It's what we do with these profits that separates a social enterprise. We don't give them back to the owner. We might give some of them a little bit maybe, but the profits, so out of $1.50, 50 cents goes to homeless people, 50 cents goes to unemployed people, and let's say, for example, 50 cents goes to animal shelters, giving back to the community. And what is important to realize is this is actually a private company. It has a structure of a company. It appoints directors to oversee it and managers to run it. So just because you own a social enterprise doesn't mean you have to manage it. You can get people to do that for you. So looking at an example, so the sources of revenue for a social enterprise are, yes, you sell goods and services, so customers give you money, but you're also going to get money from donations from the public and also from the government. The government's probably going to give you money too. So let's look at street. So you can see street is in the word eat at the end instead of the way it's normally spelled. It's got 4 cafes throughout Melbourne. And if you look at any of these, they don't look like charities because they're not. They're just regular businesses. These just look like normal cafes. You wouldn't even know it was a social enterprise. You just think it was a private company set up to make a profit. So how is it different? Well, the menu's not. It's a pretty regular looking menu. We've got the normal things on there. The prices are, they're pretty low, but they're still pretty high, like they're designed to make a profit and so on. So yeah, just a regular business selling bakery and breakfast stuff and coffees and stuff like that. Where it gets a little bit different is in what it's about. So it is about, if you just look at this vision, young people who belong and are thriving with a healthy self, home and job. And their mission is, it says that youth homelessness is a big thing, and we exist to help stop it one mouthful at a time. Together we offer disadvantaged youth aged 16 to 25 a pathway from the street to a sustainable livelihood. How? What do? Well, they give them jobs, okay? They help hire them. So we just look at this bit. Why we exist. 105,000 people every night are homeless. 26,000 of those are young people. And basically, most of these people leave school before year 10 with no education, and 50%, 7% are destined for long-term unemployment, and their life expectancy is only 47 years compared to 82 years for the rest of the population. So Street exists to help give these people jobs, train them up, so they can not only work at Street, but they can get jobs somewhere else. So they might be young or homeless or disadvantaged, disabled and so on. And that is what this business exists for. So let's sort of come back to social enterprises in general rather than a specific example. The definition is a business whose main purpose is to provide a social benefit or service to society, and it distributes its profits to benefit the community rather than its owners. The number of owners, it's actually a private company, so same as that one. We've got 1 to 50 called shareholders, and it's a separate legal entity to its owners. Management and risk profile. The management is delegated to a board of directors. Just because you own it doesn't mean you manage it. You delegate the management of it to a board of directors, and you share in the financial risk with your percentage of ownership. A social enterprise can still go broke. It's not like a charity run by the government, okay? So it can still, if it's a bad business, it goes out of business. That's just what happens. So what's different with the profits though is that, the business that might give the profits back to the owners, maybe a little bit, but the main thing is the profits go to a social cause or the community, e.g. homelessness, environment, disadvantaged people. Liability, we've got a private company, so we've got limited liability, and perpetuity is good. We can sell out of a social enterprise and we not have to worry about, creating a whole new business ownership structure. So we've got some advantages and disadvantages with this type of ownership. So on the plus side, you get access to a lot of government funding because you're doing a good thing. So like Street Cafe hires disadvantaged youth, the government will give you grants and subsidies to help you do that good. If you like to, you're not just about profits and, maximizing your own individual returns, you want society to benefit, this is the type of business for you because you get what's called a social dividend. You might perform operations that other businesses don't want to do or can't do at a high profit, hire people who otherwise wouldn't get a job somewhere else. That is why you have a social enterprise. There's less profit pressure compared to those companies that we looked at where it's all about profit, profit, profit. This is about doing good for society. You don't have to maximize profits. So therefore you can do good, take some risks, do some things that other private companies and public companies can't do. And also the owners have limited liability. You're not going to lose your personal assets if the business can't meet its debts because a social enterprise is actually a private company. It's a separate legal entity. Disadvantages are limited access to funds. Think about it. If you're not focused purely on profits, it's going to be harder to get investors to invest in your business because let's be honest, most people in society just want money. They don't want to invest in doing good. So the potential number of people who can invest in your business is much smaller. And therefore, it can be harder to hire the best managers and employees because salaries, bonuses, etc. are usually higher in for-profit businesses, and that can make it difficult for you to recruit people into your business. The potential pool of people who want to work for a social enterprise is much smaller than that for, say, a private company or a public company.